Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And we just got off the Wave Rider to review Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 16, I, Ava. And if you haven't seen this episode, you and your clones might want to come back later because there will be spoilers.
When Ava disappears, Sarah and Ray set out to find her after some prodding from a Time Bureau agent named Gary and a disturbing truth about Ava.
Okay, we're going to work our way through the episode, but we cannot move a step further without talking about what I think is one of the greatest scenes. Is that an unhappy scene? Unhappy face?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
One of the greatest scenes in Legends history. And I'm talking about Mick Rory flaming on some dogs.
Oh, I couldn't.
And be like, you want a dog?
I couldn't disagree with you more.
Pull my finger.
No. My first note literally says Mick cooking is
Pull my finger.
stupid.
I did like the popcorn joke. I thought like the kernels were popping out. He's like, oh.
I think I would have liked that joke if I was 7. I didn't think it was particularly clever, even for Mick. And then Mick goes on to basically be a misogynist for the rest of the episode. So for me, this isn't a great start for him.
Look, I'm not going to die on the hill of this episode, of this Mick storyline. I just thought the beat was funny.
That's fine.
Just the singular beat was
That's
funny.
fine.
Him reacting like a child to popcorn, I thought was very
Yeah,
funny.
well, he's got Zara to play off of, so he's got basically nothing to do for this whole
To be honest with you, I thought the rest of the storyline was mediocre,
Yeah.
and we're probably not going to bring a single other thing up about it. So I just wanted to talk about the dogs.
That's fine.
I got to get my Mick impressions in, or else we got nothing to talk about.
I know, I live for them. You're the best.
So, okay, we get to go back to 2018. Mari has gotten burned in a building because she doesn't have the totem, because the timeline is sort of reset. We send Nate going there. We have also the storyline where Gary is freaking out because Ava hasn't been to work lately, and he calls on the Legends.
I really feel like the people who make Legends of Tomorrow are going out of their way to use more Gary.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I am pro
Yep.
more Gary.
Yeah. Let's talk about, okay, this is a very big episode for
Yes.
Kuwasa, who is Mari's sister. We see Kuwasa at the hospital. She's a great actress,
I
by the
love
way.
her.
And we find out that she's trying to protect Mari because,
Because she's your sister.
well, also, when the totem went to Nora Dark, she was like, oh, Mari's not protected anymore. Mari's not going to get the totem anymore. Let me ask you about this. She basically doesn't want the totem to go to Nora. Do we buy Kuwasa's turn in this episode?
I don't know if we necessarily buy it. I don't mind it.
Sure.
For the overall structure of the season and for the episode, I think it serves the episode well. But this is the most we've had with Kuwasa.
Besides maybe her first episode, yeah.
This is the longest we've
Yeah.
had with her speak. This is the most lines she's ever spoken.
You are right about that.
She usually pops
Yeah.
up as kind of like, screw you, Grandma, and then they
turns into water.
and then they fight a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it could have benefited from a little more character development on the front end. But overall, I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind that either, and I think that is a strength to the actress.
Yes.
I think she...
I'll look up her name.
Yes, I think she did a good enough job that I didn't mind it. It is a little contrived. It is a little fast, but I do mind at least a little bit. We're kind of getting a repeat of what happened in last season, where the other villains of the Legion of Doom started turning against Eobard.
Yes.
And now we're getting the thing where we even see it with Damien Dark. They're all turning against Malice, which is being represented by Nora Dark.
With her horrible.
Save that. We're gonna talk
County
about
Fair
we're,
face paint.
We're gonna talk about that face painting.
Okay.
So let's go on to Fresno. Once you're looking up the actress's name
I'm
here.
gonna get it, but she's a ways down.
We go to Fresno. We meet Ava's parents. It's very
Tracy Ifeakor. I'm so
Tracy,
sorry.
you're an amazing actress.
tremendous.
You're really good.
And you have a beautiful headshot.
Yes, and I'm sad about what happened to you in the episode
Yes,
today.
me too.
So we go to Fresno. We meet Ava's parents. I wrote in a note that it's very much Stefford wives.
It
very
is
much.
also, it's the rainiest that Fresno, California has ever looked.
Yeah. I love that Sarah pulled a knife on them, and they were like, "We're actors. We were hired 4 years ago."
Yeah.
Okay, now remember, there's sort of a connection to 4 years ago. Okay, we go back 3 seasons, and 3.5 years is the beginning of the pilot, because remember, we had a 6-month gap between season 2 and season 3. But also, remember, at the end of season 2, Rip, when he disappears then comes back, he says, I haven't seen you guys for 5 years. I've been building the time bureau.
Okay, so this 4 years ago
Yep.
thing kind of plays into my prediction.
Okay, we'll save on that. We'll save on that.
So if we could pin in it, that'd be cool.
But I love the idea that 2213 is a like no time travel zone. They steal the mothership, which is sort of a weird cross between Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda and the Wave Rider.
It reminds me of the like a bird of prey almost like the wings.
Yeah. So we see Ava's everywhere, which I thought was a cool little beat.
I thought it was cool.
We find out that Ava is a clone. She is an advanced variant automaton.
I'm so glad she wasn't a robot, I have to say.
Yeah.
I was really worried that she was going to be like a life model decoy type
Well,
or a Cylon.
She's a clone robot, sort of.
Well, she's a human.
Sure,
she's
but
a
she's
human
programmed.
clone.
Yeah.
But I was glad that she wasn't just a robot.
And they mention as well that she is sort of a genetically perfect woman, like little pieces from everything. Ashley, what did you think about, we've been talking about this for a while, that there was going to be some reveal with Ava. For a long time, I thought she was a time anachronism. She still could be.
I wrote, Jason was right about Ava because they say, Gary says, my boss is an anachronism.
Yes. Well,
which is why they're locked from that year.
Sure. We don't, I still don't believe I'm 100% right, but I do think you're going to learn she's some time anachronism. Is it satisfying that she's a clone? What do you think about this?
Again, it's going to play into my prediction a little bit. I think it's satisfying.
As much as you can say.
If it pays off beyond this episode. If this
it
is
will.
a one and done
No.
For Ava, then I think it's just a weird, contrived way to have her show up in a lot of scenes. Not that I'm complaining about that.
She's great.
She is great, and
Like
she's
her.
gotten more great over the course of the season.
She has.
I like that this mystery's been built around her, but if it's only a device for this episode, it's not great.
Can I tell you, does your prediction have anything to do with Legends Season 3? Or Season 4, excuse me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Would you be okay, let's just go out there, if Ava joined the crew next season?
Yes.
You'd be fine with
I
that?
would be totally fine with it.
Okay.
I do think, though,
Because now she has a badass ninja suit.
she does. I actually love that beat where she's like, I'm keeping the suit.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. I always have a problem, and they only do it with, they don't only, but they often do it with female characters. Helen of Troy, who we actually saw on Legends of Tomorrow,
who
they've
would've
done
thought
this
was
too.
her?
Helen of Troy is supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world.
And she wasn't.
Ava is supposed to be like the ideal woman. Whenever you put those qualifiers on a human, especially on women with the number of beauty standards that we're crushed under in a modern society, you automatically look at that actor and you go, well, she's not perfect.
But
so
Ava's closer to that than Helen of Troy was.
I don't like that qualifier.
Okay.
I think there's a better way that they could have portrayed
You're
that
knocking
same
the
ideal.
writing.
I
not
guess I am, but
not
like
the
that was
casting.
something that no.
Okay.
She's right, but that was something that stuck out to me when they said it.
Let's talk about some stuff that stuck out to me. I like the line where Nate is like, "You're the second fastest man alive," and Wally's like, "She didn't need to know that."
Not in the comics. Wally's faster. I want to say this. I thought Nate was great in this episode.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. Let's say that because there's a better scene to talk about that. Ashley usually hates Nate. Okay, so let's talk about something that's problematic. It's something that I've noticed since Kid Flash has joined Legends. So Nate's like, okay, I'm going to team up Kawasa. We're going to do this. We're going to get back the totem. Hey, Wally, go back to the ship and make sure that Maya doesn't know about anything we're doing. We bench Wally, who
After Wally says, I can just go steal it, I'm super fast.
I can just grab it. And Kawasa just says a line where she's just like, well, they're prepared for that. I don't think they are. So we bench the most powerful legend for like the third episode in a row, and this is becoming problematic for me.
He's the John Jones of the show. He's too powerful for this cast of characters.
Because he can solve any problem.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in this very episode that they bench Wally, the villain finds a way to have Wally participate in the fight, but stop him. So to me, I'm like, how in the same episode did you like, well, we can't have Wally stick around because he'll win, but then we figure out a way to beat Wally.
Also, if, they've spent a couple episodes really trying to set up this pre-existing friendship between Wally and Nate. So,
which we've seen since episode 1.
So to me, if that's a beat that we're trying to drive home, then we should see them working together.
Sure.
Nate shouldn't be the one to be like, go back, little boy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to hang out with my great-granddaughter.
Yeah,
or my granddaughter.
who hates me.
Yeah. So the Dark show up. I love when Neil McDonough shows up, but good God, what is wrong with the bad makeup on Nora Dark's face? That looked It looks like she has like bad. It's like if the Venom movie was produced by Trauma Films, and that's a reference that lots of film students are laughing at right now.
It looked to me like someone took liquid eyeliner, painted it on her face, and she sweat for a while.
Or she had like black Play-Doh on her face. It was bad.
And the idea of the black veins is like a very old horror trope. We've seen it. It can be done well, but it was not done well in this episode.
So Kuwasa betrays Nate. She gets the totem back, gives it back to Amaya, and then we get one of the best Damien scenes, and I'm gonna say it right now, the best Nate scene of the entire season. Nate is tied to this chair, and Damien sort of like lets his guard down. He's like, look, I'm sorry, torture doesn't do anything for me anymore. And Nate's like, let's keep digging. And this sort of quid pro quo moment where Damien's like, look, I'm just concerned about my little girl, man. I'm sorry. Like, torture doesn't, and then he's like, here, I need you to scream a little bit. And Nate's like, He's like, a little bit more, a little bit more. This was the best Nate has been all season, and again, maybe again because it's portraying him against a much better actor, Neil McDonough, who is electric as Damien Dark. What did you think? The Nate hater.
As the Nate hater, I loved
#Nate hater.
I loved this scene. I thought it was great, and I think this scene and the writing on this scene exemplifies what Legends excels at.
Probably one of the best scenes in the episode.
But honestly, if you gave this dialogue to someone other than Neil McDonough, it might have been a bad scene.
Yes.
But it wasn't. It was really fun. Nate got a functional role while serving a joke, which I think is the best way to use Nate.
Oh, 100%.
Because none of us, he can tell us he's a historian all he wants. He can tell us he's smart. Nobody believes him. That's the best way to use him, was the way he was used in this scene.
As a buffoon tied to a chair.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so again, we didn't need Zari. I'm going to go through some other. We didn't need Zari and Mick fighting. That was really dumb. How did Kuwasa get on the ship? Let's just move on.
She's made of water.
We get to the end fight, right? Wally is there. Wally runs towards Malice. Malice sucks the speed force from him.
Great.
And we didn't have to bench Wally. See how simple that was? And you prove that your villain is uber powerful. Great writing. Yeah. That's how you deal with Wally West. Then we get the giant Ava clone fight. Ray says probably the most terrible line in the entire episode. This is the second worst Attack of the Clones I've ever seen.
Also, Ray has a moment earlier where he goes, you don't need to ask us our credentials.
Yeah.
And I was like, calm down, Ben Kenobi. You are not that good.
Yeah. So basically, our conclusions happen. Amaya gets the stone back. Kuwasa dies. I was very surprised by that.
I was hurt by...
Really?
I was because... I wanted Kuwasa to get a real hero moment, and she gets a very soft hero moment. I knew,
Keep soft in your head, because that is going to go entirely into my rating of this episode.
Okay, she's going to die this season from the get-go, and I just think there's a better use of her.
And so eventually we learn that Rip is the reason why Ava's history, too many characters with A names, Ava's history was deleted, and then Amaya's like, I'm going back to 1992, here I go, I'm gonna save my family.
Amaya, girl, Maisie Richardson Sellers. What is up with your hair this season?
It's been great.
No.
Yeah, it's been great.
How many terrible hairstyles has she has? And
good.
in this one, they just took her hair and went like this, and it's just not good. I don't know if you made your makeup person mad, but you're so much better than this.
You complain about my scene.
And it looked especially bad in where she took the ship.
You don't pull on the wig. Don't. You want a
well,
dog?
You have no.
Pull my finger. No. Let's go into the rating of this episode. Based on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. Ashley, what would you give this episode?
I'm a little conflicted about Ava because I think the A storyline of the clones of Ava.
Because there's 3 storylines. There's Ava and Sarah. There is Nate and Kuwasa, and then there is Mick and
Zari.
Zari.
So I think the A storyline of Ava and the clones is really interesting, and I actually thought Katie Lutz did a great job. I liked the emotions that we were sort of developing with these 2 characters, so you can tell they're going to get back together for at least a minute. I really liked that. I thought the B plot was good. With an unsatisfying ending, and I thought the C plot was terrible. And I don't think, again, this is a problem that Legends has from time to time, I don't think they coalesced in a meaningful way. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I think it's right in the middle. It's a fine episode of Legends. There was some really good stuff, but there's some really weak stuff as well. How about you?
This is an episode of Legends that has no punch. Nothing in this episode hits hard. We get the death of Kawasa, which should be a meaningful and impactful moment. But I feel because this episode is so jam-packed, it's meaningless. Like, there is a scene in this episode that we didn't talk about where Amaya and Kawasa are talking, and they're talking about Amaya being like, there is no redemption to you. And the entire scene is played at this tone. Oh, you gave me my totem back.
They should have been yelling at each other.
I have no redemption for you. Oh, yes, grandmother? No redemption for you? No redemption for you. That is the tone of the scene. And yes, it should be a scene of like, get off the ship. Give me that back.
And Wally is in that scene. Wally should have to like hold them apart.
And again, this is the rising action of your story coming to a tone.
We have like 3 episodes, 4 episodes
so much
left.
stakes. And it's meaningless. And I also think that maybe this is an episode that should have been 2 episodes. Like, I kind of wonder if we should have just had a whole episode dealing with Ava clones.
Yes.
And I think we maybe should have had a whole episode dealing with Kawasa turning good.
Yes, we should have.
But because we slammed them together, both of them matters less, and I don't care about either one. It's not Hawk People bad as season 1. But it's not great either. To me, it's right in the middle. Like, it's not a terrible episode. I wouldn't skip it, but it's not great either. All right, let's go straight to our predictions. Ashley, you've been hitting about it the entire episode. What the hell is your prediction?
Well, because I really thought this was how this episode was going to end. So we saw a couple episodes ago, Rip was like, delete the file on Ava. Sarah can never learn about Ava. We learned that Ava's a clone, and we re-established that Rip was the one who deleted the file and got rid of it. So to me, I think that Rip is the person who built the Ava program and who designed her, and I think he always designed her for Sarah. I think it's gonna come, like, everyone's gonna take it as like, oh, you did a bad thing, but I think this is Rip, as we've seen him do many times.
Doing something nice?
Rip is trying to do something nice and he screwed it up. Because Rip is kind of a madman who's out of control. But I think that this revelation is going to lead to Ava becoming a part of the team, like you mentioned, probably in season 4. Because I really think Nate and Amaya also leave the team at the end of this season.
I hope so.
And so I think that's why we're getting Constantine, who's been announced, and Ava as their 2 replacements. What do you think is coming down the pike for Legends?
I have a prediction that I'm not happy about. But I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
And I'm not happy about it because it's a repeat of last year.
Oh, boy.
So we saw Amaya getting the jump ship, right?
Uh-huh.
She's going back to 1992.
Uh-huh.
What do you think she's going to do? She's going to upend the timeline, right? She's going to save her family, completely destroying the timeline. Not only is that going to do one thing, it's going to finally crack open the universe completely so Mollis can come in.
And we've seen the cracks.
But also, it's going to have to give us an episode where the heroes are going to have to cross their own past timelines to reset Amaya's failure.
I don't want to see that.
Yes, that's the sad thing about it. We're basically going to repeat the ending of last year's. We're going to have to fix the problem that we create. Hopefully they do it in a more creative way, but to be honest with you, I'm pretty certain that's what's going to happen, and I'm a little disappointed because we saw it last year.
Yeah.
So go down in the comments, tell us which of our predictions you think is right, what's going to happen, are the Legends going to break time, and while you're down there, click subscribe.
And for more exclusive geeky content, go to patreon.com/Jawiin and join our super friends in the Hall of Justice.
See you around for the next review, Super Friends.